Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson, your health watchman, and this is the Torah Life Ministries Torah Parashah reading, which we do every week. And we've been doing every week now for 3 years, where we take a certain part of the first 5 books of the scriptures and we read it to you and show you the teachings through Jewish eyes. We explain the scriptures, which is so important because that's the way Yeshua did it. He taught out of the Torah the same way. And I have so many other parts of the scriptures that I want to and will be teaching. But I have a question for everyone. This week's Torah portion we're going to read, by the way, is the last book of the first 5 books of the scriptures, known as the Torah, is Deuteronomy 31:1 to 34:12. Now, before we get there, my question is, I've been doing this now for 3 years, reading these clips from the Torah each week. Do you want me to keep reading them and it starts all over again in Genesis 1:1 in a couple of weeks now? Do you want me to keep doing the weekly Torah teachings? Is that helpful to you? Or would you prefer me to focus on the New Covenant and maybe some of the prophetic prophet writings of the scriptures? I'll still do the Torah readings and writings, but maybe not every week if you're not asking for that. So we still have some time. I want to hear from you, my viewers. Let me know if you're appreciating these Torah teachings. If you are, I'll gladly start them over again. But I want to know I'm reaching you, and if you'd rather hear something else, I'll go ahead and teach that. So, regardless of what you say, I might do it anyway, but I'm just wondering how you're getting this out there. Do you listen to the Torah portions each week that I do? Well, let's get into 33:1 to 34:12, and let's set this up a little. We saw Moses. Now, Moses was a man that was commissioned to lead the children out of slavery in Egypt. They were going through the desert. They had a 40-year trip in the desert, which shouldn't have taken 40 years to get to the promised land. But not only did all the children disobey our wonderful Creator, but even Moses himself did. So Moses was told he wasn't going to go into the promised land. So Moses commissioned Joshua to take the children into the promised land, and Moses blessed Joshua to do so, and he also blessed the children, and that's where we're up to. We're up to this week's Torah portion, where it says, this is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, spoke over the people of Israel before his death. And that was in 33:1 of Deuteronomy. So he goes down and he starts telling all the children of Israel, the leaders of the tribes of Israel, the actual children of the tribes. Here it says, to the tribe of Judah and to the tribe of Levi and Benjamin and Joseph, and he went down every single tribe, all the 12 tribes of Israel. It's very interesting. When he got to Judah, he said, hear the cry of Judah, bring him into his people. Let his own hands defend him, but you help him against his enemies. So we think about that, and we look at what's happening now, and we look at Israel now, and it says here again, bring him to his people. Let his own hands defend him. So Israel was commissioned and blessed to defend themselves. And they might be a little small country, but they defend themselves and have all throughout the years and through the wars and everything else. It says, but the second line of this is a very prophetic, important thing. And this is 33:7 of Deuteronomy. It says, hear, O wonderful Creator of Judah, bring him into his people. Let his own hands defend himself, but you help him against his enemies. Wow, that is amazing, because there's so many enemies or people that are against the land of Israel right now, and the Jewish people and all the people of Israel. And here it's telling us that let them defend themselves. They will defend themselves and be blessed and be victorious, but help him against his enemies. This is so amazing. So Moses goes and he blesses all of the people, or he gives instructions to all of each tribe. But then it says here, in Deuteronomy 34:7, Moses was 120 years old when he died. And the scriptures don't say anywhere that man's age should be limited to 120 years old. It does says that Noah, before he went in the ark, he warned the people they have about 120 years or so to get right with his word before the end comes. And that's what exactly happened then. The fact that Moses was 120 years old is quite interesting. What's even more interesting is 120 years old, Moses was climbing mountains. I mean, this wasn't like any 100-year-old man you see today, or even 90 or 80-year-old man today. He was climbing mountains. So, which leads me to believe if it wasn't for his disobedience with striking the rock, which caused his shortcoming, he would have lived even longer than 120 years, and he would have went into the promised land. But Yah had a plan, and part of that plan was he knew Moses was going to, speak to the rock and not just strike the rock, and so on. So he knew his plan. But so Moses lived to 100 120 years old. But it says he got to go up to the mountain and see the promised land, the land that they were marching all through the desert to go see. He got there, he saw it. And it says here, Yahushua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses has laid his hands on him, and the people of Israel heeded him and did what a wonderful Creator ordered Moses. Since that time, there has not arisen in all of Israel a prophet like Moses, and that's Deuteronomy 34:9 and 34:10. Now, this is very interesting. You know, some people today will claim in a new covenant, you know, when they got the gift of speaking in tongues, that's when they got the gift of laying on hands and all this stuff. You have to know Scripture, and you have to know that the Bible isn't two books, it's one book. There's no old covenant and new covenant. There's the original and the renewed. And yeah, you might see hands-on healing in a renewed covenant, but look, right here again, it said, Moses laid his hands on him. He laid his hands on him, the laying on of hands. Very, very powerful thing for spiritual men to do to somebody, to heal them, to commission them, to anoint them. And that's exactly what happened here. And Moses had two things. He had the faith and he took the action. He had the faith and he took the action. He had the faith to understand, you know, he was a messenger, but he was also a vessel of our wonderful Creator. And we can do all things through him who strengthens us. But even more important, he took action and he made it happen. He didn't just say, I know this. He said, I know it and I'm going to do it. See, that's a problem many believers have today. They believe it, but they don't have the faith to actually do it, or the energy to actually do it. Moses was a man that was taking care of himself physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and he took action to get things done. And I'm telling everyone that, you know, action is what's required. You know, you need faith, you need knowledge, and you need action. So you need the faith to go according to the knowledge you have. And the knowledge is very not difficult to find out. It can be found right in the books of Moses, the first 5 books of the Scriptures. And then you need to action to go and make it happen. And what's very interesting is Joshua was another man who had the knowledge, he had the faith, and he took action. There you go. So we see that. It was just amazing. It says, so let's look at the last chapter of the Torah here. And let's see what it says here. We look at Deuteronomy 34:10. So it says, since that time there has not arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom a wonderful Creator knew face to face. So there were other prophets, and other prophets that heard from Yah himself, but there was no other, it says, like Moses, who a wonderful Creator knew face to face. Now, that was at that time. There have been more prophets since then, and but this is when this was written, and even to this day, there was no special prophet like Moses himself. So it says, what signs and wonders our wonderful Creator sent him to perform in the land of Egypt upon Pharaoh, all his servants in his land, what might was in his hand, what a great terror he invoked before the eyes of all Israel. See, he was a messenger. Moses was a messenger of a wonderful Creator, and he delivered the message almost perfect. He had some mess-ups there, but he delivered the message. He attempted the best he can to get his point across. And there are people out there today that are watchmen as well, because Moses, that's what he was. He was a watchman. He was warning the people of what they shouldn't be doing, what they got to stop doing if they shouldn't be doing it, and what they should be doing if they're not doing it. And he gave them the information, but he also let their free will dictate what they wanted to do. He didn't tell people, you know, you don't have a choice. He said, you have a choice. You follow Yah, or you get out of here. Or you get out of here. You listen to Torah, or goodbye. You know, and that's the same thing we got today. You know, you proclaim yourself as a believer in Yeshua Messiah, well, you know, live according to the way he said. If not, get out of here. Don't be talking this nonsense that you believe, but you're going to go live in a life like you don't believe. That's not what it's about. You know, if your heart's in the right place, you'll be like Moses. You'll have faith, you'll have knowledge, and you'll take action. All right, everybody? And so that's it. So we look at that, and then we come in, and then Joshua is starting if we keep going forward, but we can go back to the original book of the Scriptures, Genesis, which means Bereshit, beginning. We could start all over again if you want me to. So I need you to post your comments and videos, or post your comments and questions below this video. Like all my videos, you can do so. healthwatchman.com. You can see all my videos. You can just click on Bible videos and see them, or you can go even right to YouTube, The Health Watchman, and you can see my videos there. But my question to you again is, do you want me to start all over in Genesis 1:1 and go through the Torah portions again this year, each week doing a different reading of the first 5 books? Or do you want me to focus more on the renewed covenant and the prophets and writings like that from the scriptures. Either way, I'll be teaching from Torah, but please let me know your answer, because that's very helpful to what I do, because time is limited, but I got to get this message out there. So I'm not going to stop, and I pray that you're blessed by these, and I was truly blessed by this year's Torah Parashah. I had many ups and downs personally, but I know in the long run, they were all ups. They were all great, and it's just, as I'm teaching you, it helps me so much. So I don't just want you to listen to the Torah teachings, and I want you to really get it in your heart, understand it. And the best way you're going to do that is live it and teach it yourself. Teach others. This isn't supposed to stop with you. You're supposed to get out there and keep teaching it, and that's the way we can all be blessed. All right, everybody, this is Paul Neeson, your health watchman, saying have a great Shabbat, and Sukkot is starting, so have a great Sukkot if you're keeping the appointed feast of a wonderful Creator, which you should be. And until then, everybody, shalom, shalom.
Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.